is this? Okay, breaking news is MiHoYo also making a COD game? Question mark. An Unreal 5 hardcore shooter confirmed to be a military war theme. What the fuck? Recently, MiHoYo posted a new IP narrative planner position on a recruitment website specifying requirements such as a passion for military and war theme and military aesthetic and understanding the military enthusiast community. This confirms our previous speculation that this is indeed a realistic hardcore shooter game with military elements. To be honest, the keyword military war realism hardcore and shooting is quite different from the general public previous impressions of MiHoYo. Whether this attempt will be successful implemented or undoubtedly, a brand new test for MiHoYo's however, looking back at each step the company has taken from Honkai Impact to Genshin Impact to Zenless Zone Zero, it seems to have no shortage of courage to step out of the comfort zone. Where it can once again refresh the public's perception remains to be seen. What the hell? In rendering development sections of the office description message, achieving ultra realistic and ultra high frame rate visuals, which suggests that the game's hardware requirement will be high and the platform should include PC. The technical artist position mentioned efficiently generating scenes, buildings, vegetations, interiors, etc., along with technologies such as photo scanning and 3D reconstruction, indicating that the game scenes are quite diverse and may be partially based on reality. The position also requires achieving industry-leading visual performance, realism, diversity, leading to a bold prediction that the game graphics will be on par with current mainstream PC games. It's worth mentioning that according to this job description for the AI client developer, this game will also feature AI NPCs and AI companions. The game explicitly mentions AI companions, suggesting that the game may have a multiplayer team mode, but players can also use the AI companions for solo play. Furthermore, players previously revealed that the MiHoYo was recruiting gun designers requiring extensive experiencing in shooting games, a deep understanding of firearms in the mainstream shooting games, and a strong interest in military history, technology, and other fields with abilities to integrate relevant knowledge into the game. This is likely a recruitment drive for their realistic shooting game. What the hell? And then here's the post for it, specifically for the for the thing itself, I assume, right? Can I open up this image here? Yeah, here it is right here. Interesting. Okay. Based on the information above, the new game is a realistic shooter with the AI teammates. The storyline, there's a storyline to this? Scenes and weapons may incorporate elements of real military shooters, historical weaponry. As a leading developer of the second generation games, MiHoYo only announced realistic art style games. So far, seems from Varsapura, which previously released gameplay footage. However, this game also combines anime style with realism. Oh, I think I know what this one is. Rather than being realistic in the traditional sense. The gameplay of this new realistic hardcore shooter is highly anticipated. Will it be the currently popular search, attack, and withdraw style, or tactical demolition, battle royale, or a large-scale battlefield, or perhaps a return to classic single-player campaign plus multiplayer mode? Is MiHoYo planning a completely new shooting gameplay? That's not possible. Number two, in fact, news of the MiHoYo making a shooting game has been constant in start with the Project X, which was revealed at the NVIDIA press conference. By 2022, the anime-style open-world shooting game PJSH was canceled. Then in March 2025, a hero shooter with European and American cartoon style combined PvP and PvE was revealed in the preliminary research. And the realistic hardcore shooter footage revealed today from these past events, it's easy to see that MiHoYo is also seeking breakthrough and changes in the current heated and drastically changing secondary game market. We don't know yet what kind of success miHoYo will achieve in the shooting field, but one thing is certain: shooting is definitely not an easy path. That's very true, to be honest. When it comes to shooter games, you're gonna be depending. Okay, if this is 100% going to be a free to play game, 1000%, right? They're going to be competing against well, yeah, they're going to be competing Call of Duty, and it's probably going to be on the mobile phone, unless it's just going to be purely PC. But I'm curious if it's going to be like another Valorant clone or something like that. Because if they try chasing the Valorant trend, I don't think it's going to last very long, to be honest. On one hand, as a giant in the ACG, the anime, comics, and games industry, miHoYo finds it difficult to replicate the past success in shooting games. Currently, there are a few games on the market that perfectly blend ACG elements with shooting. For miHoYo, shooting is more unfamiliar and challenging path compared to ACG. Let's see. On the other hand, the domestic shooting game market is already incredibly competitive. Tencent and NetEase both have a successful shooting game on both PC and mobile platforms. If miHoYo's strengths can't help them break through the shooting game market, then they will naturally have to put in more effort in terms of gameplay design and shooting fields to have any chance of getting a share of the market. That's Delta Force right there. Looking back at the recent titles like Star Valley and Honkai Impact Third Fate Spirits, as well as a host of other pre-developed shooting games, we can see that miHoYo clearly doesn't want to stop at being just an excellent second-tier game developer, but instead moving towards becoming a gaming giant. As the outcome, we can only wait and see. Interesting. What are your expectations as for the shooters? Apparently, everyone expect old MI is amazing. It must play. That is interesting. I don't have high expectations for miHoYo and don't think I'm being cynical. After so many years of making sequels, it's unlikely they succeed in the realistic hardcore shooter unless they polish it deeply over the next few years. After all, if they can't sell stats, characters, and weapons, they'll have to sell skins. And miHoYo has a long history of sequels, so they'll probably stick to gacha mechanics. Unless they change their operational strategy, it'll just be traditional gacha and the gameplay will be questionable. What will they actually do? Survival for gold or faction battles? That makes sense. That does make sense, to be honest. A lot of people don't have a lot of expectations for it, to be honest. No expectation whatsoever. Hardcore shooter in terms sounds so out of place coming from the heart of miHoYo. You're a sequel developer trying to compete in the hardcore shooters. You probably can't even beat Delta Force, let alone anything else. Yeah, this is definitely out of pocket in my personal opinion. This is kind of a little bit weird. They're making a shooter game? That's wild to see that. Well, we'll see how that's going to come out to be honest, but okay. All right. Well, that was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting this kind of a news. miHoYo making a hardcore realistic shooter game. I thought you'd seen it all. Of course, NetEase is the model company. Most hardcore whales stay in NetEase. I mean, who the fuck pays 30K skins on WWM? You'd be surprised, to be honest. I think I'm gonna try Delta Force. I've been on it for a while, but stopped myself because of China. Well, we're gonna see how miHoYo is going to do. I can't wait to see what the project is gonna be called. Well, that was pretty crazy news. Hey, Voidlings! Hey, did you guys know that I have a Patreon now and also memberships as well for those who are super curious? $1 for a membership and then $5 for the Patreon. If you want to support me in any type of way, you can. These will all go for future projects. Also, on top of that, if you want to see some different kinds of episodes or so on the Patreon, you can, because I can't upload these kinds of videos, as you can see here, over to YouTube, because YouTube does not like me. Even though, at the end of the day, other YouTubers do the same thing. Makes sense, right? That I can't do it, but they can. Pretty stupid in my personal opinion. But anyways, for those who don't know, I just want to plug in at least a little bit of an advertisement here, for those who are wondering and want to support me in any type of way. There's that, and there's that. I will not activate super chats because I'd rather do it when I'm streaming on YouTube, but hopefully I'll be able to stream on YouTube. Anyways, that is truly the end of the video, and I will catch you all on the next time. Ciao, everybody. Goodbye.
A few minutes later.
If you thought that the Hoyo news is over, the Hoyo news just began. Hoyoverse might be going all out for 4 new games project including a MOBA, an MMO, a co-op sandbox, and the shooter that we just talked about. What the fuck is even happening over there? 4 new Hoyoverse games in development? So what the fuck is this? So Hoyoverse is already locked in for the massive 2026 and beyond, and so there are so many amazing titles upcoming projects like Honkai, Nexus, Anima, and the Cozy Life Sim Petite Planet are already building excitement, while Versapura hints are hype too. But what if I tell you that there might be 4 more coming? Yes, that's pretty much the same reaction I had after the new project description suddenly surfaced online, revealing what appears to be 4 separate Hoyoverse pre-search titles. We're talking about a social lifestyle MMO, a full-blown UE5 MOBA, a fantasy sandbox co-op experience, and the realistic military sci-fi shooter. Sci-fi shooter? I thought it was going to be a real... What the hell? That's the lineup for sure, and we'll learn about it. Diving deep into the 4 upcoming Hoyoverse projects, quite ambitious and exciting. Out of the 4 projects revealed, thanks to the Star Rail universe on X, the lifestyle MMO pre-search project would be getting its first mention, according to the translated text. This multiplayer title will have social role play, sandbox gameplay, and a life simulation mechanic, while also mentioning AI. Here you will supposedly be able to become a different versions of yourselves while interacting in a colorful shared world with friends, with mentions of AI driven pipeline also surfacing. I would guess this game to be related to the mystery of Notice Fall trademark, filing earlier this month, which carried a very similar description. Another project description directly referenced a UE5 powered 3D MOBA. A fucking MOBA. We're getting a MOBA. Featuring fair competitive gameplay, multi-character PvP, and a Western-styled art direction. A Western-styled art direction? That's interesting, to be honest. This lines up with the report from March of 2026, where the job posting hinted at the Hoyoverse entering in the MOBA genre with a new Unreal Engine 5. The third project appears to be a UE5 fantasy sandbox game focused on multiplayer co-op, exploration, and AI-driven system. Details remain extremely limited, but the repeated mention of AI integration again stands out, and the final one would be the UE5 realistic shooter with the military sci-fi theme, hardcore shooting mechanics, and a tech driven gameplay. Tech driven? I thought it meant mech for a second there. I don't know what wait, tech driven gameplay? Wouldn't that be mech though? Wouldn't that be actually like an actual mecha? Because like the only thing I can think of for tech-driven gameplay would be a robot, to be honest. There's really nothing else. Like unless it's a car or something, or a tank. Because it's supposed to be a realistic shooter, and then we got a little information that it's a sci-fi military shooter. The only thing I can think of is a robot, you know? That's the only thing I can think of. Something found interesting about the 4 projects that repeated the use of AI development language. It's no surprise that it comes shortly after the reports that the Hoyoverse plans to invest around 14.6 billion into AI development over the next 3 years. Again, whether these are early experiments or full production titles remains unknown for now, but the scale of ambitions is clear. There's also this wow factor when you consider all these descriptions are catered to different genres, especially a MOBA mention, which is quite exciting. We might have a new player in this vast market. That's going to be very interesting, to be honest. Are they going to bring us Titanfall 3? I don't know about that one, to be honest, but here's the is this the tweet? Yeah, this is the tweet here. Damn, they really are going all out with their games, aren't they? It's kind of wild to see this actually. Wow. And I thought the news for freaking Hoyoverse was done. They will give us a Concord that we deserve. No, we do not need another Concord. It's gonna be better than Concord. What an interesting news, to be honest. God damn, dude.